Okay. Oh, my friend here. Hi, Carol. How are you? Good to see you here. Thank you for your support. Okay, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the KCKK talk. KCKK is a Kiwanis Club for Kota Kemuning. We try to have a talk every month. Okay. So far, for the last 2 months, May, June, and this month, we've been having talk consistently. And then for tonight's talk, as you know, the title is Malaysia and the COVID crisis. What can we do to help? Okay. Before I start, if there's any Muslim there, I would like to wish you Selamat Hari Raya Adil Adha. Actually, today is a public holiday, which is actually perfect for the talk. Okay. Before I start, can we share the TH? Can we share the agenda, please?
Okay, one moment, please.
Thank you.
Just give me a moment.
Can.
Having some issues opening your file.
Uh-oh. Can buka
Can. Slowly. All right. I would like to go through quickly the agenda for tonight. Okay. So we have arrival of guests and members already. Now it's around 8:09 already. So okay. Basically for tonight's talk, okay, it's about Malaysia in COVID crisis and what can we do? What can we do to help? Okay. And then after that, I'll go introduce Jean. Okay, our president for our club. And Jane will have a quick update on the what is about our club about, and then maybe some event and all that. Okay, after that, around 5 minutes introduction about the club. Dr. Ming to talk the topic and the COVID crisis. What can we do to help? Okay, Mr. Dr. Ong will like to have only a short talk. He will talk about 15 minutes of that. Then after that, we will dedicate more time, about 45 minutes, for Q&A. Okay, so that we have not two-way conversation instead of me just do the talking. After the Q&A, okay, we will have a 15 minutes short Project Musang King charity program, which I will introduce Alan Yoon. He's a celebrity, local celebrity, and also Jean will be involved in this charity program. Short one, and about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. And then we have some fellowship, we chit chat, and then that's it. The end. We expect end around 9:45 p.m. Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody, and then I would like to invite Jean. Jean. Hello.
Welcome on behalf of Kiwanis Club of Kota Kemuning. We welcome you to our July dinner meeting. So thank you, Dr. Ong, for being our speaker. And also, I would like to wish our Muslim friends Selamat Hari Raya. And let's begin. Let me talk about a little bit about Kiwanis. So Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, with the tagline, one child, one community at a time. So Kiwanis International is actually a service club founded in 1915 in Michigan, USA. Okay. And right now we have worldwide about 600,000 members, lebih kurang lah ya. So our motto is serving the children of the world. Okay. So in Malaysia, okay, our first club was formed in 1970 by the late Tan Sri Muhammad Khair Johari, also known as Papa Kiwanis Malaysia. Yeah. And right now in Malaysia, we have about 60 clubs around Malaysia and with about 1,300 members, lebih kurang. So Kiwanis Club of Kota Kemuning was chartered in 2018. Okay, so we are still a very new club. So if anybody is interested in joining us, please, you can contact any one of us here. Okay, who invited you lah for this meeting. So I think I will hand over to Helen to talk to introduce Dr. Ong. That's about it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Jean. Okay. All right. Now we go to the highlight of the evening, which is the talk for tonight. Okay. I would like to introduce Dr. Ong Ming. Okay. Some of you, I think all of you know who he is, but I'm going to share what his background, a short one. Basically, he's a current member of the Parliment for Bangi and a second-term MP as well. And he has a PhD in political science from Duke University and a Fullbright scholar as well. Besides this, he is a member of Special Compliance Committee on Health Matters for Industry in Selangor. Okay, Dr. Ong, welcome, and you can start your talk now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks Helen for being the moderator. Thanks Linda for inviting me. It's been a long time coming. I think Linda started asking me whether I wanted to come and speak to you guys a long time ago. I can't remember when it was. But at the time, I didn't really have anything particularly interesting that I thought I could talk about. But of course, now with the COVID situation improving, even though the numbers are very high, I will tell you a little bit why later. I think the situation is looking up. I think there's optimism. There's a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of vaccination rates going up, and then also the number of serious cases and deaths hopefully will be coming down in the very near future. Right. So I just want to spend this time talking about three things. Three things in terms of why I think I'm quite positive, and why I think you guys should be quite positive as well in the next couple of weeks. Things to look forward to after a particularly dreary 1.5 years. And then after the three things, positive things, I'm going to talk about maybe three areas where I would suggest that all of us can band together to help those in our communities that have been the most negatively affected by COVID. Okay, so the three reasons why I'm cautiously optimistic are the following. Firstly, if you look at the overall vaccination rates, we've hit more than 20% double dose in the among the adult population. This is 18 and above. And then more than 50% reach first dose already. And this is for Selangor and KL. I think the latest numbers for Selangor and KL is about 60% first dose, 20% for second dose. And once you cross the 20% double vaccination or fully vaccination mark, you should be able to see the effects of vaccination kick in relatively soon. So hopefully by 1 or 2 weeks, we can see the situation getting better in terms of number of deaths and ICU capacity. And that's one. Second reason why I'm optimistic is because of this project that was announced by the Minister in charge of vaccination, YB Kari Jamaluddin. He calls it the Operation Surge Capacity. And the intention of this operation is to ramp up significantly the number of vaccinations in Selangor and KL, the Klang Valley basically, in the last week of July, which is starting next Monday. And with this Operation Surge Capacity, what it means is that we'll probably reach around 80 to 90% of the adult population in the Klang Valley getting at least one dose. And this would mean probably about 30 to 40% getting their second dose, right? Yeah, this is pretty significant because this will mean that, the process of accelerating the decrease in the number of serious cases would go up even further. Yeah, so that's something good. And then probably the third reason why I'm fairly optimistic is because the indications are on the part of the government is that they will try to open up more segments of the economy in the Klang Valley, and also in some of the phase 2 states in the near future. Right. So you've already seen the announcement yesterday that bicycling is now okay already, as long as you do it alone. And then of course, we could run outdoors in the EMCO areas because the EMCO was lifted last Saturday. For those of you who don't know, this is a plug for Linda's husband's business, Carsten. I knew Carsten since his running days, and he goes out and runs a lot. Of course, got to know him better when I frequented his gym, Fit Orange. But of course, gyms are not open yet. I hope that they will be open fairly soon, sometime in August. But yeah, I mean, the general narrative that I'm getting from the government, and I've spoken to some ministers even recently, and they've given me the indication that yes, by the 1st of August, there'll be many more sectors that will be allowed to open, and some of them will be tied in with the vaccination status, right? So maybe dining in or gyms even. But definitely for, let's say, factories, I think, Helen, you're in the F&B sector, right?
Yes. I'm actually working for FNN.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think FNN should be okay, but there are other more sensitive beverages that are not allowed to manufacture. So hopefully they will be able to they would be able to manufacture soon, because there's going to be some guidelines announced in terms of once you get, let's say, 80% of your workers double vaccinated, regardless of the type of manufacturing sector you're in, you'll be allowed to start operations, even if, let's say, your state is in a phase 1 state, like in Selangor, right? So yeah, so generally optimism on the vaccination front, and I probably am privy to more information than most, because I was appointed by the Menteri Besar of Selangor with the agreement of the minister in charge of vaccination, Khairi Jamaluddin, to be part of the Operation Surge Capacity. So I've been in a number of meetings. Going to have another one tomorrow on the vaccine rollout next week, and that's why I have more reason to be optimistic. Okay, at this point in time, any questions with regards to vaccination, and related vaccination issues that you want to ask before I move on to the helping people part?
Any question from anyone? Linda, hands up already. Okay, unmute, Linda.
Yep, unmuted. Okay, so just want to clarify, we are ramping up vaccination, and assuming that we are reaching the target that we want to reach, what's the plan after that? What are we looking at? Is Vax our only thing on the table, the thing on the table in terms of exiting this?
No,
what are you looking at?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question, Linda. So this is what I've gathered from my position as as somebody who's spoken to people in the state and also the federal government. Vaccination is an important part of the strategy, and it will continue after the 1st of August. So I think some of you would have heard, after the 1st of August, in the Klang Valley, you basically can walk into selected PPVs. They haven't announced which ones yet. You should be able to walk in if you are not vaccinated and say that I want to get vaccinated, right? So all of those people who, for whatever reason, they missed their appointment they maybe, for the unlucky ones, they may have gotten COVID and then they couldn't go for the appointments. They've recovered already, so they can go for these appointments. For those who are 60 and above, you can actually walk in already, right? So the question from Stuart Lebroy with regards to what type of vaccines are available from August 1, basically it'll be a very, I think, a good process in that they will publish the vaccine that will be supplied by specific PPVs, right? So this one has Pfizer, this one has Sinovac, this one has AZ, right? So you can basically choose which one you want to take by going to the specific PPV, the closest one that's near your place, right? But I do want to say that caveat here, right? If you have an appointment now to take the vaccine, and you know that, this particular center doesn't offer what I want, please do not cancel your appointment hoping to walk in after the 1st of August. I think there's something quite irresponsible, and you may not be able to you know, when you cancel your appointment, you cause trouble for yourself and others, just put it that way, right? Yeah, so the vaccination plan will continue, but at the same time, the government is also going to be moving away from the number of daily cases as an indicator, right? This is something that myself and other people have spoken up on, and they will probably be looking at you know, the serious cases, category 3, 4, 5. Right? Category 1 basically means you're walking around with COVID without any symptoms. Category 2, basically you have very minor symptoms. It's only category 3, 4, 5. You know, 5 you have to be intubated and in ICU. These are the more serious cases that will put a pressure on our healthcare system, public healthcare system. Right? So these are the cases that are more serious, and also of course the number of deaths. So these are the things that the government will move towards, you know, move the public's eye towards. So if let's say in the background there's noise, you know, okay, we can survive with, let's say, 1,000, 2,000 cases daily even, as long as they are mostly category 1 and 2, the economy can still open. We can, you know, still, you know, go to work and go to the shops. Of course, SOPs still have to be followed in the near term. We're not going to be like the US, whereby they suddenly say, oh, mask off, or the UK where everything is on again. You know, you can go to the stadium filled with capacity and expect you know, life to be exactly the same as before. I don't think we are at a stage to be able to move on to that. And I think many people in Malaysia don't want to move on to that kind of living at this point in time when, you know, there are still you know, COVID cases around. So yeah, so there's the vaccination strategy, and then there's the opening up of the economy strategy. And of course, for many of you, you're concerned about your kids as well. Right? Somebody asked Linda, I think, you know, when are we looking to vax kids? I think the WHO has already approved a couple of vaccines for kids, those below 18. I think Pfizer is one of them. Sinovac is also another one. So once I think the vaccination of the adults are over and done with, I do believe that you know, even starting from the Klang Valley, there should be room for there to be announcements for kids to be vaccinated, especially since school starts on the 1st of September, right? So at least for those in their 12 to 18-year-old category, right? They should look forward to that possibility, right? Somebody asked, if someone don't have My Sejahtera app, but can they walk in? Theoretically you can, because for example, some undocumented migrants, they don't have My Sejahtera, you know, and they can walk in, and there's ways in which they can be registered, but I wouldn't recommend it because of all the complications that may arise. Yeah, and yeah, if let's say you really don't have My Sejahtera for different reasons, maybe you shouldn't go to the mega PPVs. Maybe you should go to the local clinics that have supply after the 1st of August and try that instead, right? So Kamal asked, will we see more independent private sector source vaccination, or will it remain centralized? No, after the 1st of August, I'm quite sure, and the minister has already announced this, that buying certain types of private sector procurement of certain vaccines for whatever reason, for your staff, or let's say, you know, you've taken Pfizer, you know, you want to take Sinovac because you want to go to China. I think those vaccines, many of those vaccines will be available in the open market. I think starting with Sinovac, that one is quite clear because Pharma Niaga is selling it to the Selangor state government and likely will be able to sell it to private sectors as well. Okay, question, Jin Wong, can foreign workers, regardless of legal or not, go for this walk-in for vaccination? No, because whether actually My Sejahtera doesn't differentiate between foreign workers or Malaysians, right? But you cannot walk in before the 1st of August. After the 1st of August, theoretically, you can walk in. But of course, I think foreign workers, especially those who are undocumented, they may have some fears of being you know, arrested if, let's say, the immigration people somehow happen to be at certain PPDs and then they check on their documents. So I think that fear needs to be addressed by the federal government, and I do believe that they have a strategy to tackle this, right? How many businesses and jobs have we lost since the pandemic started? I actually, this is a question that we would have normally asked in Parliament, but Parliament hasn't been open for a while, and even when it's open next week, we are not allowed to have pre-prepared Q&A questions to submit to the various ministers. So we may have to hope that the ministers themselves announce this figure. If not, then many of us, I think, will ask this during the budget or the end of the year parliamentary session that should start sometime in September, right? Okay, what plans do government have to help B40 and other vulnerable groups? Is there a comprehensive plan rather than a cash handout? I think there are job sort of like hiring incentives that are out there. I can talk a bit more about that if you want. And I'll talk more about sort of like what the community can do together with government. In my other 3 points that I'll talk about after this. Okay. Lastly, with the uproar of empty syringes and the vax recipient needing to prove it's empty, should we not allow filming of photography? I think we should. Of course, I'm not sure whether there's been a sort of like a substantive policy announced on this that we should allow the filming. But regardless of whether it's filmed or not, I think we should just make sure that we look at the vaccine, the syringe. Even if, let's say, we don't want to film it, we just look at the vaccine syringe, make sure that it's open. Make sure that it's full before it's administered. And then, ask the nurse or the administrator in a nice way to show that, right? Protecting the healthcare worker, we only take of ourselves. Can we allow this again? Okay, I think that's with regards to the taking videos and all that. How can we help besides getting ourselves vaccinated, social distancing, and wearing a mask? Okay. So if, let's say, you want to help in terms of helping to open up the economy, this is something that I think different people can do in different capacities, which is to bring up SOPs for your particular company or for your particular industry. And if, let's say, you're in a position to be able to effect these kinds of policies or put them in place, then you should try to put them in place in your particular sphere of influence. So, for example, again, to give a plug to Linda's husband, Carsten, I think he's adopted very, very good physical distancing policies in his gym in Mount Kiara, in the Sri Hatama, sorry. When I go there, even when it was MCO 2.0, for example, I felt very safe. There's the air circulation there is very good. There's a lot of air purifiers, and the policies there are really top notch. One of the best gym environments that I can find. So so if as a company owner, that's something that you may want to do to enhance the safety of your workplace for you and for your employees, right? Okay. Okay, if there are no other questions, let me move on to on the vaccine. You can come back to it later if you have other questions. Then I move on to 3 points on how to help, how we can offer help, because I think Kiwanis, was started with the idea of wanting to contribute to society. And for those of you who may not know, Hey Johari's son, Zyril, is actually a member of my party. He's a former member of Parliment for Bukit Bendera. Now he's the state assemblyman for Tanjung Bunga and also exco in Selangor. So it's I'm sure he'll be glad to hear that talking to Kiwanis club in Kota Kemuning. Okay, so the 3 things that I want to recommend that we do that maybe is a bit different from, let's say, just giving out food baskets or cash handouts, which is what Kamal talked about just now. The first thing would be that I think we need to find ways in which we can give sustainable help to those in the marginalized communities, or the ones that are in vulnerable communities. What do I mean by this? I give 2 examples. One example is, I'm not sure whether you've heard of this guy called Dr. Billy Tang. If you haven't, you should try to invite him to give a talk to you guys. Billlytang. So he was involved in a quite serious car accident, and he lost his ability to use his legs, and he's in a wheelchair now. He got into a sort of like a bit of a funk and depression and all that. He's spoken about this publicly, and then he didn't let that continue to drag him down. and he started a social enterprise which involves producing these terrarium, how do you call it, units. I'm not sure whether you guys have heard of terrariums before. You can Google it later. It's basically like a box where there's soil, and then there's, yeah?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
a soil box, right? The for hobby one.
Yeah. So it's basically for you to grow vegetables, right?
Yes.
And it's a self-replicating system. You can grow, then you harvest the vegetables, and then after let it grow again, and it can like grow between 3 to 6 months. Right? And that actually can become a source of food for some of the B40 communities that you can reach out to. Right? Rather than keep buying them food baskets, you can give them something that they can use to grow food for themselves. Yeah, there's some technique involved, but it's not really rocket science. So anyone with access to decent light and water can use it. You can Google Dr. Billy Tang terrariums. You'll be able to see his YouTube videos as well as his Facebook posts on this. And he's received multiple awards. There are many companies that have actually reached out to him to buy those terrariums to give to the poor, rather than just buying food or giving food vouchers. Right? So this is something that I'm keen to do in my own area as well. Then the other example that I want to give is this aquaponics concept, whereby I've seen it done in some of the low-cost flats in my area. You basically have a big sort of like a bin or basin, concrete ones would probably be the best. And then you fill them with fish, and then fish fry. And then on top of the fish fry, you grow some sort of a vegetable or herbs. So what happened is that you will feed the fish with the vegetables. And then if let's say you have a bit of more funding, you can actually build a system whereby the fish sort of like fish waste can be turned into fertilizer for the plants. So it becomes a very it becomes a circular system. I've seen it done in even a mosque that I visited last Saturday in my area. Of course, there is some level of capital cost, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 ringgit, including the construction costs, but for the tank. But it's something that you may want to look into, and I'll be happy to show you some examples in my area, like what works, what doesn't, right? So that's one thing, sustainable kind of solutions. The second thing that I want to advocate for is you guys are all connected in your own ways, to different groups and to different businesses. What I found, recently or in the last 2 months, as a result of my offer to give pro bono consulting services, I'm not sure whether Linda mentioned, I used to work for the Boston Consulting Group way back then. So yeah, or Helen rather. So I offered these pro bono sort of like consulting gigs, and I found that by working together with different groups, I got together a bunch of consultants who are working for BCG, KPMG, Pricewaterhouse. So they wanted to give their free time to help people out in terms of advice and contacts that they can help people out with. And I found that actually this is a way in which we can really give good suggestions and inputs to SMEs, right? So I think similarly, I'm not asking you guys to go out to give consulting advice, but for any of you guys who have people, networks, or any SMEs, any friends who are having challenges with their businesses, try to get them together. Try to get together with them, not just you yourself, but other people in your group in Kiwanis. Speak to them, identify their pain points, and see who are the contacts or who are the people you can put them in touch with, so that you can help them out. Right? I'll be happy to facilitate or assist in any way that you think is my contacts or my expertise can come into play. Right? So this is sort of like us helping each other. Kita jaga kita. Right? And then I think the third suggestion I have, in terms of helping each other out, helping the government, helping larger society and whatnot, is basically to come up with, rather than saying that, oh, government, you need to do X, Y, and Z, actually tell the government, this is what I can do for you. right? You know, like Robert Kennedy, right? Ask not what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for the country. And I think this is a good time for us to band together to see whether we can, you know, as a collective in our own respective areas, tell the government we're doing X, Y, and Z. This is ways in which you may want to replicate or share these ideas with others, whether it's in your own businesses, whether it's in a context like your residents association, whether it is in the context of Kiwanis. I think there's a lot more that we can do to show the way forward, right? Okay, so that's it for me. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so some advice there. Winglock, make time pay, short-term jobs available in the market. Yeah, there's also a lot of other types of sites out there, including job for blue-collar workers, right? So there may be some blue-collar workers in your area that have lost their jobs, right? See whether you can try to help them, you know, register themselves, get a CV done up, you know, in a very basic fashion, and help them register for these sites so that they can have access to these job sites to look for jobs, including in the blue-collar sector. I think for many white-collar people, there's the options that are clearer, you know, Job Street and My Future Jobs and things like that. Yeah, only question is how picky you want to be, right? Okay. Okay, KK Han, at this pandemic time, one of the great contributors are the young doctors, yet these doctors are not offered permanent job placement by KKM. So I think the Prime Minister has already announced for those who have already graduated, done their housemanship and whatnot, I think the government has promised to absorb them. This will have some financial implications for the government, but so far indications are that this will be done. So that's a positive news. Okay, Cheryl, why some vaccine there's no batch number, only either first or second, only have batch number? I have no idea. I know mine has a batch number. So yeah, I think for those of you who haven't been vaccinated yet, and I think it will be a minority because I'm guessing everyone here would have gotten at least their first jabs already. Am I right? Is there anyone here who hasn't gotten even a first jab yet? Jackie. How old are you, Jackie? Do you mind me asking?
42.
When did you register?
But my appointment is this Saturday.
Okay, sorry.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. Where's your appointment?
Setia Alam.
Okay. So yeah, so my understanding is that for all those who haven't gotten who basically live in Selangor or KL, you should be getting the appointment at least for your first vaccination by this week. You should have gotten it already because next week is the Operation Surge Capacity. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so actually you should be allowed to take photos of the batch number one. Yeah, every vaccine has the batch number. Okay, Lai P. Lon, my understanding is that Europe has not recognized Sinovac. What happened to those planning travel to Europe but jab Sinovac? Since you're in the Malaysian vaccine team, what can we do? I'm not really in the Malaysian vaccine team. I've just been roped in for this particular task force, this operation. But what I will say is this. I think we are very close to the time when we probably can purchase this Pfizer as well as this AstraZeneca soon, and also to have it integrated into the MySejahtera system, right? So I think with that in mind, for those who want to travel to Europe but have jabbed Sinovac, I think there may be an option for you in the relative near future to be able to get a second double dose or maybe even a booster jab. I'm not sure yet. The government has to announce the policy. For Pfizer or for one of those AstraZeneca, the other one that's approved by the European agencies, right? Okay, so for the Europe thing, right? Let me just say, what I said just now, right, is that if let's say you have, there was some, news out there, I think last week or the week before, saying that, the European medical agency does not recognize the AZ vaccine that is manufactured outside of Europe. I think some of you will remember that, right? So I think for those of you who may still have some issues on that particular point, I just want to clarify, right? The European Medical Agency, they are not in a position, or they are not they are not given the responsibility of recognizing vaccines or variants of vaccines that are not produced for the European market, right? So that one was quite clear, when I spoke to some of the European ambassadors. But when I look at the websites of some countries, such as Germany, for example, they clearly state that the equivalent of those AZ vaccines that are produced and also administered elsewhere in Asia, for example, they have the same kind of people who have been vaccinated with those vaccines have the same kind of privileges as those who have been vaccinated with the AZ vaccine that's being used in the European market, right? So I think that was a press statement that was also issued by the European mission to Malaysia to make it that very clear. And actually, if let's say you have been Jack Sinovac, you want to go to the UK, right? Actually, UK does not have any vaccine requirements. I'm not sure whether you realize that. If you go to the UK right now, the kind of constraints that you face is dependent on the country that you're visiting from, right? So if you're from Singapore, then you basically don't really need to quarantine. You need to take a test before you fly off, and then 2 days later, just look at the result and only report the result if it's positive. If not, then you just go about doing your business, right? If let's say you come from a country like Malaysia, we are not banned yet, we're not barred yet, like some other countries. You need to take a test before you fly in, and then when you get in there, you need to take a test, and then you need to do home quarantine, I think, for about a week or so, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that is not really dependent on the kind of vaccine that you've taken, right? So yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Somebody mentioned about the number for vaccine. Actually, it's inside your MySejahtera.
Okay, yeah, good. Thanks for the clarification.
So you just have to click. Let's say you get first dose. You click at first dose. You can see the vaccination date, vaccine number, batch number as well.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Helen. Okay, Jin. Recently, a few of us provided hot meals, lunch, and dinner to seniors in PJ Old Town, one of the oldest districts in PJ. After 3 days, we stopped because fear of being fined by the authorities. There are many of seniors living alone. Actually, why do you fear that being fined by the authorities? That time was EMCO lah. Now it's no longer EMCO, so you should be able to go out to do this kind of activity. Okay, guys, let me put this way. If you have any kind of this food distribution activities, right? Please contact your local ADUN or MP. Like this is what I do. I issue a letter saying that, the list of people in this list, IC number and whatnot, they are helping me out distribute food in my area, right? So usually when you show that letter, let's say for PJ, it will be my colleague, in Kota, it will be my colleague Rajiv. So he will issue a letter to you, and then you can go about doing your food distribution. It's not an issue. Right? Okay.
Because we do not have like a MySejahtera, we have like no SOP.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Because we will display the food. We will borrow a space, pinjam a space from the hawkers, and we will stack our meals in front, on the table, and the senior citizens will queue up and to come and get the the food. And there is a fear that suddenly the authorities will come and just give us a saman, like what's the saman right now? 1,000 or 2,000, something like that, right?
No, 10,000. Yeah.
10,000 now.
Yeah, up to 10,000, but yeah. No, but like I said, just get the letter, and then you really want to be safe. You do it together with the local representative. You ask him or his rep to come down, or you do it with the local councillor. So the local councillor will know who the local authorities are. So you have at least some cover for that, some protection.
I have written to Rajiv, so I'm waiting for him to come back. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Stuart, the next crisis will be the housing crisis impacting the white flag families. How many are close to being evicted? Can our lawmakers impose a moratorium? Actually, yeah, this is part and parcel of the COVID relief bill that was passed in December. During the budget session last year. But because we've not had Parliament, we've not had a chance to debate and to ask for this to be updated and enhanced. So hopefully we'll be able to raise this up in the next parliamentary session in September. But I haven't received that many sort of like notices of people getting evicted and whatnot. I think landlords also themselves, they also want to be, I think, humanitarian. And if they evict somebody, there's no chance that they will be able to get their unpaid rent back. Because I think, the chances of many of these people being able to go back to work after the lockdown is ended is quite high. At least be able to do some minimal kind of pasar malam, pasar pagi kind of activities. So I've not really had that kind of a lot of those kind of reports. In fact, I've had the opposite. I've had landlords whereby they are willing to take in people who cannot afford rental at the previous location, who have voluntarily moved out, and then landlords actually offer them a cheaper price because they have also a lot of units in condos, especially, that cannot be rented out. Yeah. Okay, Raymond, one of the frustrations is facing the high positive number and we don't know where are the cases. We have no basic info like close contact with positive cases. Why are we not informed? Yeah, I think this one, My Sejahtera really has not really done that good of a job. And once the system becomes overwhelmed in terms of the number of cases, right, it's hard for the Ministry of Health to do contact tracing. In fact, probably should have tried to subcontract this out so that, or rope in other officers from other ministries like JKM and whatnot, Jabatan Kebajikan, the Welfare Department, so that they can do a better job in contact tracing. I think on this part, we're still not doing a very good job. In fact, most of the cases now, right, are actually not from the factory clusters or the kilang clusters. Most of the cases now are actually sort of like community spread cases, which makes it not so easy for us to do contact tracing when there are like, over 10,000 cases. Yeah. Okay, how about Australia? Is there any vaccine requirement? I think for Australia, even if you have vaccine AZ or Pfizer, right, if you're not a citizen, it's very hard for you to get in. Even if you're a citizen, they restrict the number of citizens that can go back, also depending on which country you're coming from, right? So that one, the best thing to do is for you to check with the Australian High Com and also the website for these matters, immigration matters and travel matters. They're equivalent of the Home Affairs Ministry. Okay. Okay, Raymond, something to open up borders. Yeah, I think this one, the key will be Singapore. And I think for Singapore, they will not, I think, open up borders without quarantine until the number of cases in Malaysia goes down and also the vaccination rate goes up. So I think we are probably, hopefully, will come to a time maybe in the fourth quarter of the year where if you're fully vaccinated, maybe all you need to do is to take a test before you go to Singapore, and then when you touch down, you do another test to show that you're not COVID positive. And I think that should be the way to go. So I'm cautiously optimistic fourth quarter that at least our borders with Singapore would be more open compared to what they are now. Okay. Okay, let's say some parts of the world, we're seeing people take dose one, then opt not to take dose two. If that what happens in Malaysia, what is the step to rectify? Very simple. You put in all those incentives and caveats for people who have been fully vaccinated, right? If let's say you want to travel across state lines, you can only do so when you're fully vaccinated. You want to travel on the plane, you can only do so if you're fully vaccinated, right? So yeah, so that's the way to go, and I think that's the direction that the government is moving towards. Okay, is Selangor still doing the COVID-19 test? The numbers are so high in Selangor. The Selangor government is not undertaking that right now in a major way. So actually KKM or Ministry of Health has been picking up the slack because of a lot of us saying to the DG that we should do more testing. So in the past, they did less than 100,000 tests a day. Now they are doing maybe on a good day, they can do up to 130,000 tests, which is why you see so many cases. So yeah, I think those tests should still continue. I think what is important is that, again, SOPs provided by companies and sectors, they should be updated and customized to those particular sectors, including, for example, buying self-testing kits that you can use at home. So I think if you go to the pharmacy, starting on Monday this week, you'll probably be able to see some of these self-testing kits being sold. Do your research in terms of the efficacy of different types of these self-testing kits, and then buy one that you're comfortable with in terms of price point and efficacy, and see whether you want to do it for yourself, for your kids, and if you're a company owner, whether you want to do it for your employees, and what kind of frequency, whether it is once a week or once every 2 weeks. That really depends on the nature of your occupation and your business. Okay, is there a way to get access to the percentage breakdown of cases in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3? Yeah, if you look, so I recommend everyone to go and follow the MKN, Majlis Keselamatan Negara or National Security Council Telegram. So recently they started publishing category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breakdown, percentage as well as numbers. For example, yesterday, category 1 and 2 was about 96 or 97 of total cases. 3%, it's like 1%, 0.5%, 0.5% for category 3, 4, 5. So it's very clear that the majority of cases now are the ones that are, category 1 and 2, the non-serious ones, right? I also made a recommendation for these figures to be published at the state level as well, disaggregated at the state level, and I think that will help reduce the fear among people that we are in a there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're still averaging over 10,000 cases, right? Economy will be closed forever, blah blah blah. We need to moderate, and also change the focus to something that's more practical in terms of the pressures on the healthcare system. Okay, Doc. Yeah, we take a break. Let me drink some coffee.
Okay, keep the questions coming. I think because we still have a lot of time here, if you have any question, if you're too shy, just type it out in the chat box. If not, you just unmute yourself, okay, and then you just speak. Any more questions for everybody?
So can I ask? I mean, what have you guys been up to? In terms of trying to stay sane, trying to help each other, encourage each other as a club, as a society.
Linda,
did you hear me?
Linda want to take the question or not? The answer or not? She said no. For me personally, I like to cook so I do a lot of cooking daily, and then I like to engage on my Facebook page, with all my Facebook followers and all my Facebook friends So that one I pass my time quite well, and then at least I know those friends that have not met them, at least I engage online with them and also I go for a walk not every day not as fit as Linda
Yeah, no, I mean, exercising is good. It's a way for us to clear my head.
Yes.
Clear your head. So yeah, even like a 10-minute walk, 20-minute walk is good Yeah.
I take my dog out for a walk for like 1 round, then after that I walk myself because the dog is quite old cannot take cannot walk too.
Yeah. Don't want your dog to have heart attack.
Yeah. How about yourself, Dotong?
I go running. So yeah, on Sunday I ran 10K. Saturday I ran about 7.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's as I said. I used to go, running races quite regularly, and I'll see Carsten, Linda's husband there.
Oh, I see.
He's much faster than me now, but yeah, I mean,
marathon
no, mostly 10K, sometimes 21K.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's how I keep myself sane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for me,
so
I enjoy working from home.
Yeah,
just a quick comment. You asked us what clubs are doing. I think what we've been doing is we're trying to sort of leverage on technology a little bit more to set up portals and platforms to do crowdfunding to raise money for the B40 families.
Yeah.
And we're translating that all into coupons. We sometimes find it's more efficient distributing coupons in this particular pandemic as opposed to trying to get out there, buy bags of rice, pack them, and then send them off in boxes. Because coupons give the families a chance to buy what they want.
Yeah.
Tend to tell them what we think they need. And there's more dignity giving them those coupons, letting them buy what they need to buy rather than sort of giving them boxes of food. Yeah. And it's much more efficient in delivery. We're working together also. We've got partnerships with Lala Move. They can move our stuff around for us if we need to. And we're working with other NGOs who are actually preparing not soup kitchens per se, but provisions for families. So they tend to give provisions plus the coupon package to these families to keep them going. But the question we always ask, yeah, you can give them food, perhaps they have no money to buy gas. Okay, they can't cook it. Or if they're trying to reach you, there's no money to buy an upgrade on their phone. So I mean, there's several things you need to bear. Maybe the electricity was not paid, they lose their power. So there are many questions that, and the worst thing is, I think that we failed miserably, is there's no real database.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what these people are, what their financial positions are. We don't interview them. We don't log them in. We don't create a database of people in need. We all say in this country, we've got all these B40s. They're out there. They're just a mystery bunch of people called the B40s. No identity, faceless, and ignored because we don't know how to help them.
Actually, that's not true. I don't think they are faceless. I think there are databases. It's just that they are not integrated. Yeah. So MOF. Yeah. So MOF has their. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Ong. Yeah. Sorry, can you continue? I was just wanted to add something, but never mind. Maybe I'll let you finish first.
Yeah. So the MOF has their database of all those recipients of those Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat, those Bantuan Prihatin Negara, and then the GKP, the Grant Khas Prihatin for the business, small business owners. But then that database is not integrated with the My Kase database that's under the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development. And that's not integrated with whatever state databases that we have. People who apply for various assistance schemes, and also whoever that comes to our offices as elected reps, we also have databases of that. And then there's also integration with databases belonging to belonging to government agencies such as Perkeso. People who are receiving Perkeso payments because of disability, people who are receiving money from the welfare department, people who are receiving money, people who have certain savings in, let's say, EPF, right? So because of all these lack of integration, we don't really have a very good picture of how bad, individual B40 families are, or individual, people in the B40 community are, and how best it is that we can assist them, whether it's looking for a job, giving them welfare payments, helping their children. All this, is subject to a more targeted and fine-tuned policy. Okay, somebody wanted to ask a question just now?
Yes, Dr. Ong. Kamal here.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't plan to ask anything, so excuse me if I'm a little frazzled. So I think what you're saying is totally and absolutely correct. There are these databases, information is out there, but we don't have a philosophy of a welfare system like Australia or Finland and other countries. Like, we do not have that, and that's something we really need to think about moving forward. It's not enough to give handouts. It's not enough to create small jobs. We actually need a dedicated program. And it should not be centralized in Putrajaya. It should be at the state level where Putrajaya might be able to offer some support. And I don't really think that ADUNs and institutions will be useful by itself. It has to be in government institutions. The welfare needs reform.
Ideally, I would think, I know there's some parts of the argument that I would agree with, but some welfare systems, right, can only be funded by the federal government because they are quite expensive. And this is similar to European countries as well. So and because Malaysia, we are a very centralized state, even though we are a federal country, the states actually have very little fundraising, rights or abilities. Yeah,
which I totally understand, and I think this is what needs reform as well. How we look at revenue, how we look at governance, and unless we want to be a strong federal centralized system, and this goes to political history and culture as well. But we have a state system. States can take that step, but we don't have the money. Like, you're right. So they have to think of new ways to create that money. Currently, like Selangor, for example, is apart from their industry, in more rural areas, is still traditional land and natural resources. We need to go beyond that, beyond logging, beyond mining. We need to think of other ways to make money.
Yeah, actually for Selangor state government, mining is very little part of the very small percentage of the revenue. Logging is definitely very small. Mostly for Selangor is land related, when you want to renew your premiums and whatnot, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I recently, like, I mean, it used to be earlier logging was quite this one,
Yeah.
but I mean, we've got to think of different ways of how to use it, how to create and generate income. But this is one advantage where, state parties and states can actually work towards being more autonomous from the federal.
Yeah, that's another talk in itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought I get it out there. I think we're going to have a bigger problem post-COVID. And it's going to be an economic one. Yeah.
Well, we have an economic problem now. Okay. The issue of these factory, impact of factory on COVID cases and whatnot. I think KK Han asked this question. Yeah, your FM committee member who feel that this criticism is rather swiping. Actually, I totally agree with you. Because, when all these reports on kilang clusters and whatnot, right, come up, the way MITI goes and defends the kilang, right, or the factory is actually not very convincing. So the first thing that I think the minister should have said is that, some of these factory workers are vulnerable, not because of their work at the kilang or the factories. It's because of the accommodation quarters that they live in, which I think many of them are living in very cramped quarters. So if one person gets it, the chances of it being spread is very, very high. Even if you look at a place like Singapore, initially, most of their cases in the thousands were coming from factory workers that didn't get it from factories, but got them in the CLQs, the central labor quarters that they were living in Western Singapore, in Tuas, right? So because of this reasoning or rationale, the worst thing that you can do is to go and shut the factories down. Because if you shut the factory down, where would the workers be congregating? They won't be working, where you can actually see the SOPs being observed. They will be back home. They'll be bored. They'll be talking with one another. They'll be playing games with one another, playing table tennis, eating or drinking. And the chances of that being of COVID being spread in their accommodation becomes so much higher, because that's where they're spending most of their time, right? So I think this is something that MITI really didn't explain very well, which caused many people to lose, to sort of like look at the factories as something that is a hotbed of these COVID cases, right? So can't really blame the public when we don't have good explanations. Okay, KY Chong, it is difficult now because more and more people we know are getting infected, and most of the households are still not vaccinated, so they have no choice but to isolate themselves in their own rooms, risk spreading to family members. Okay, so if you know people who are in these categories, you should ask them if they can afford it to try to book themselves into low-risk quarantine hotels. There are a few that are in Klang Valley and in Selangor and KL, including one in my own constituency called the Bangi Golf Resort. You can isolate there, and there are some budget hotels that have applied to do this, to become these low-risk quarantine centers. So this is another way in which you can sort of like minimize the risk. But for those who haven't been vaccinated yet, right, I think this would be in Selangor, mostly below 35 years old. You should have gotten your appointment for next week already. Yeah. Okay, Jackie Lim, if a cause of death is stated as post-COVID organ failure, is it considered a COVID death? Probably not, because if you leave the hospital after your COVID is over, and I have a friend's mom who died this way. She actually died 2 weeks after she left the hospital. After she recovered from COVID, but it was from other complications. So her death was not listed as COVID, and she was, they allow her to have a wake, things like that. Right, so the body of the patient is still, you just put it in the casket, right? So what countries have been doing is trying to estimate, above normal deaths, and use these figures to attribute, to get a real sense of how many additional deaths that COVID has caused beyond the ones that are directly related to COVID. Yeah. Okay. Faith, YB, where does the funding come from? Is it my EPF? Is my EPF safe? Don't have to worry, the funding doesn't come from EPF. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about this. Your money is safe in EPF, right? EPF does not, the government, if let's say they borrow from EPF, it will be, it's a guaranteed loan. That means the government cannot say, I don't want to pay back the EPF, right? So yeah, you don't have to worry. EPF is one of the best run sovereign wealth funds if in Malaysia, if not the entire world. The governance system there is very, very good. And I know some of the people there, they really do try their best to take care of our savings. Right? So don't be too afraid. Okay. KY Chong, how do we find these hotels? Yeah, you can go and look at My Safe HQ or something like that. It's a MyEG website. The two that are listed there are Saujana as well as this Royal Chulan in KL, but those are expensive lah. I think about like 500 a day, a night. For Bangi Golf Resort, you can find the number, I think, online. They're offering maybe about 250. For the budget hotels and whatnot, I think you have to, the full list is not out yet. You may have to ask the local, pejabat kesihatan daerah, the PKD officer, the district health officer, to see whether he or she knows where the nearest such hotel or facility is located at. Okay. Anything else that you want to ask?
There are 3 more questions there in the chat box, Dr. Ong.
Okay, what if you cannot have the vaccine for medical reasons, will you be able to travel? I think this one, yeah, you'll be able to travel, but you just have to quarantine, right? You don't want to go to Singapore, quarantine for 2 weeks. I think that would be the situation, right? Yeah, maybe they'll have a situation whereby you can produce a medical letter to say the reasons why you can't get vaccinated. But I think, from a medical standpoint, if you haven't been vaccinated, interstate locally, they won't have to wait. Yeah, I don't want to speculate on what kind of policies that they will have on this. But I think if you have a legitimate reason to travel across state for work purposes, even if you're not vaccinated, I think you can get the appropriate letter to travel. But for tourism kind of thing, then I don't think that there will be any official approval yet for this. Okay, doc.
For the question about this travel bubble and also travel passport, vaccine travel passport, whether can we implement this for our country?
To go where?
I mean, any country that agree to have travel bubble with us.
Well, so far there's no country yet.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so far no lah.
Oh, so for example, you want to, let's say, go to the UK, right? Even for tourism purposes, you can actually do that already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long as you can show the test that you're negative, and if you're from Malaysia, you just have to stay at home for a certain period of time, or stay in your hotel, and then after that you can go out and about. It's an honest system, right? So they don't have. I don't think they intend to have a travel bubble with us. I think the vaccine passport, that one is probably more important, especially travel to Singapore, right? So that one, the technical aspects probably not that difficult. It's just a mutual recognition of our barcode of our vaccination card. But what will be more tricky is when Singapore feels comfortable enough to allow Malaysians who have been vaccinated to cross over to Singapore, subject to minimal quarantine kind of protocols. That one won't happen anytime soon. Yeah, maybe.
There's one more question.
My friend have AZ appointment. Can he change to Sinovac? Answer is no. Yeah, you cannot just change like that. My response is always, you take the vaccine. The most effective vaccine is the one that's in your body, right? Because you don't know when you may come into contact with somebody with COVID. So, for example, let's say your Sinovac, your AZ appointment is this weekend, right? And then you say, wait 1 more week, then I can go and get my Sinovac vaccine in PPV of my choice. But then what happens if during that 1 week you catch COVID, and you get serious symptoms. Or if you catch COVID, if you don't have serious symptoms, but you pass it on to somebody else, and that somebody else, passes away, right? Would you be able to forgive yourself knowing that you had a chance to get vaccinated with one vaccine, but you chose not to do it for whatever reason, and then somebody suffers as a result, right? So you don't want to be put in that position. If let's say you have to travel to China, right, take the AZ first, and then later on, if necessary, you can always buy the Sinovac, and then when there's proper sort of like medical advice on this, then you can consider having a booster jab of Sinovac, or you can consider having a double dose again of Sinovac. I don't think there's been any studies which have said that this cannot be done, although this is not something that the health authorities in Malaysia are recommending at this point in time, right? Okay. Oh yeah, Linda says if it's AZ and there's a history of allergy, then it can be changed. Yeah. I think if you are young and then you can show that you have certain allergies, then then the doctor may tell you to take another vaccine. Yeah, but I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't want to speculate too much on the process. Okay, suicides have gone up during this pandemic and lockdown period. More cases seen in the Klang Valley. Is the state government looking into this? So some of my colleagues have advocated for more mental sort of like awareness programs, mental health programs. As you know, suicides in Malaysia are still considered illegal act. So us MPs have tried to advocate for decriminalization of suicide, so that it's not something that that people are so afraid to talk about, that they don't get help in the time when they're actually thinking about it, right? And then by the time they people find out that these people that some among us have suicidal thoughts, it's too late already, because that person has gone ahead to commit the act. So I think we need to remove that stigma. I think all parties need to do their part. So even clubs like Kiwanis, you may want to organize some mental health experts to come in together and brief you guys to look out for signs of mental health issues, depression, anxiety. Those are the most common ones.
One more question.
So we know someone above 40 and above who hasn't received their appointment yet. What can they do? If they haven't, you can WhatsApp me. I'll see what I can do about it. But they have to be in Selangor or KL. If they're outside, then in Penang or whatever, then sorry.
Okay, we can have another 5 more minutes to go before we start our Musang King Durian charity event. Okay, so please ask your question. So please stay back for the Durian charity event. We have a beautiful, nice, grade A Musang King to sell, and then it's actually all go to the charity.
How do y'all get Alan Yun involved in this?
You ask Gina.
Alan Yun is my friend. Alan, are you here, Alan? Alan.
Probably not in yet.
Yeah, he's in. Alan?
Hi everyone. Hi Alan. Hi Alan. Show your face.
Hi YB. Hi YB. More work.
Hey Alan.
We know each other. How are you?
Hey, when are you gonna play basketball?
Anytime. I've got my 2 jab ready for you.
So your friend,
Yeah.
Contact sports hard cannot.
Difficult. When was the last time we played? 6 months ago, right? That was Bert's birthday.
Yeah, Bert's birthday. Yeah.
You're fit, man, YB. He's fitter than me.
Okay run here, run there.
Right.
Okay.
There's a nickname, people call him Running Man.
Running Man, yeah, Running YB. Yes.
Running YB.
YB, join us YB.
Yeah, join us for the Durian charity.
No,
I will.
Join our club, not join. You also have to, join
club.
the Durian. Yeah.
We
need you. Can we call ourselves the rebels.
Yeah,
so
2 more questions, YB.
More comments on the way KSN rates from the factory. Can they be more civilized? Yeah, that one another issue. They should be more civilized, but I think they're under certain orders. I'm not familiar. I don't know that many people in the home ministry, but yeah, this is one of the areas of challenge if we want to vaccinate the undocumented migrants. Because if KDN and not KSN, if KDN takes this is the home ministry, if they take a very hard approach, like let's say going to the vaccination sites and arresting people who don't have documents, right? It will be worse for the country because all the undocumented migrants won't dare to come up, and that is sort of like a hotbed of this COVID cases waiting to explode. Okay, are we learning from other countries that have greatly reduced the COVID death rate, like Philippines and India? I don't think so, but I think our approach is basically just to vaccinate as many as possible. I think we're getting there. We have enough vaccine supplies coming in. In fact, we'll probably end up having more vaccines than we have adults in Malaysia. That's why I'm fairly confident that now that there's international precedents for vaccinating kids, I think that will probably be the next step after the adults have been vaccinated. Excuse me.
Okay, we take the last round of question now before we move on to the next event, the children charity.
I think no more questions. We go straight to the durian.
Hang on.
Got one more.
There.
Then should we not vax kids before the school opening? I think wait for the various ministries to give policies on this before 1st of September. I think the key is actually to vaccinate the teachers first, right? Because they are the ones that are more vulnerable. They are older than the kids. And then probably after that, we'll be vaccinating those between 12 and 18, starting with those who are older, right? I was having a discussion earlier this afternoon with some people on whether kids should be forced to fully vaccinate before they are allowed to go to school. I think that one a bit difficult because there will be some kids who cannot vaccinate for different reasons. There'll be some kids where the parents basically say, I don't want my kids to be vaccinated for whatever reason. Are you going to deny that kid the chance to go to school? That's not being very fair. But I think, when we have enough vaccines to go around, at that time, even if let's say there are, let's say 5% of kids that are not vaccinated, right? It should be still relatively safe in the sense that the virus should not be something that is too serious, right? So if let's say you get a kid having fever, just ask the kid not to go to school, right? So same thing with this COVID. We shouldn't, just like we shouldn't stigmatize adults who have gotten COVID before, we should not stigmatize kids who happen to get COVID for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay, last one. Can I quickly recap on your views about the future once vax rates go up for benefit of those who joined it? So once vaccination rates go up, the number of serious COVID-19 cases in category 3, 4, and 5 will drop. The number of deaths related to COVID will also drop. And with that, the government would feel more secure in opening up more and more sectors of the economy, subject to existing SOPs so that we are not complacent, such as wearing face masks for the foreseeable future. And then with that in mind, then hopefully the economy can bounce back. Of course, there can be more government strategies, smart government strategies that can be put in place in order to quicken the recovery of the economy and in fact bring in more economic activity that was not present in the past to be able to improve the economic outlook in the country. But that one is that one will probably start around early August. And hopefully, as I said just now, when the cases goes down by enough, we'll be able to have things like tourism, come back into the country, starting with domestic tourism, and then later expanding it to regional tourism and also tourism from countries that have relatively few cases, right? Like Singapore, or maybe Australia. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thanks, YB, for the very informative and interesting talk. And thanks everyone who already, especially those who ask questions to make a talk more interesting and very all these participants who are very participative and ask the relevant question, interesting question. Okay, thank you so much. I have to move on to the next event, which is Musang King Durian Charity Event, or we call it project. Okay, this was a little bit last minute now. That's why I have to skip in after your Q&A. Okay, I have to. I would like to hand over to Jean and Alan, but then I want to introduce Alan first. Alan Yoon is actually our local celebrity. Okay, so there he is. Okay, he said good. Local celebrity, those who don't know him, I think most of you know him. I think he starred in movies before, like the famous movie, local movie, Sepet, your restaurateur too, right? And entrepreneur. And now tonight he's a durian seller.
Jack of all tricks.
Okay.
So I brought some friends with us.
Jane and Alan to actually inform you and then talk about a bit more about what is this durian Musang King charity about. And there is a slide, right, Jane?
Yeah, continue the next slide.
Okay.
So Alan, I know Alan for a while now, and he is a member of Kiwanis Club of Kota Kemuning. He is one of the rebels. Yeah, he is also owner of Limo Pulo, the Central Kitchen, and 45 Kemuning. Correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually love the food in Lima Pulo. Very good.
Lima Pulo. If you guys haven't tried the food in Lima Pulo, you guys should try. I love their laksa, the Nyonya laksa.
It's Peranakan food. Yep.
Yeah. So so we discussed how we can do something to raise funds, and now Alan also is a durian entrepreneur. He has an orchard in Bentong, Pahang, and is pesticide free, and he has many durians, and one of them is Musang King. Okay, so we want to raise funds by selling this Musang King to our Kita Bantu Kita funds. Okay, we want to use the funds to help people like during this MCO, and also like YB, we are very interested also to learn more about the, what is it, hydroponics? Is it correct? The thing that you were saying just now earlier? Yeah.
Terrarium.
Huh?
Aquaponic.
Yeah, aquaponics and terrariums. Yeah. I'll share data slides later with Linda.
Yeah. Because YB, because we also are very active in Sabah and Sarawak. So we didn't tell you earlier, Sabah and Sarawak. So we hope that we can, impart some of this knowledge, to, those the orang asal people there. So we have been to Sabah, we have been to Sarawak to do a kapit, kapit, and also to Sabah we have been to Solimpondon, Kudat, the poorer area. Okay, so we are hoping to raise funds to we call it Kita Bantu Kita. We help each other by selling durians. So maybe Alan, you can tell more about your durians. He's from Durian King 70s, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just a new venture that I got myself into. So the history of this brand is about 2 years, 2 years old. All in all, about 4 seasons. Basically, the real Durian King is actually my business partner. His name is Eric, and he inherited this skill from his late father. So in the 70s to the 90s, this Durian King name was given by the media, so it's not self-proclaimed. Well, this father and son has this lost, what they call it, talent, whereby they can literally tell which durian is bitter or sweet by using, their sixth sense and what they call it, by smelling and by feeling the husk, and also judging from the smell of the durian, they can literally, pick the best, for your liking. Some they want like sweet bitter, some that really, really want to have bitter. So this is, this is where what they call it, this old timer skill come from. Anyway, cut the story short. So for now, I work very closely with this farm in Bentong. It's only about 10 acres, and this farm actually belongs to my schoolmate. So because of trust, so these 2 seasons, we be able to have this direct access. So I literally see how they run it, because it's a family farm, and then they literally consume the product, the durians. So even the grass are being trimmed manually, because some farms or some commercial farms, they actually put poisons, they have no time to maintain. But everything was done manually. So I must say, this durian it's quite safe, right? So like for instance, all this bulat huge Musang King, as you can see, the husk is a little bit destroyed by the worms. All right, but these are the good ones because usually, this Mother Nature, like worms, they know where's the best durian to go. So of course, because now we are not selling entire meat. When we sell this fruit, we are not giving the entire fruit with the hearts, but we dissect it and put in a proper Tupperware like this. All right, and this is my brand. All right. So later on, I think Jean has the slides on the different packaging, right? Or are you with me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you? Yeah. So I just want to show you my durian. Can you see the durians which I just opened?
Okay.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, can see. Yeah. So we don't sell overnight durian. So meaning, like for instance, those leftover, we will do our own packing. We will blast it, we'll freeze it for export purposes. So lo and behold, do not worry that because we are because of a charity, then I have to compromise on the quality. So just bear in mind, every day is fresh from farm. So whatever leftover, we will pack it and then into a freezer. So this is actually my little centralized kitchen for durian packing. Yeah. So it's when it comes to hygiene part, it's also clean. Everybody requires to wear gloves and masks. So I'll be there literally to monitor for this batch. Okay, back to you, Jean. Yeah.
So for this fundraising project, we are selling durian, the Musang King durian, 300 gram for 55 ringgit. Yeah, and if you buy 3 packs, it will be, the delivery will be free, but within 20 km. Bear in mind, all the proceeds will go into the tabung, our tabung, kita jaga kita tabung, the funds. And we will use these funds to help, the children or the projects that our club is doing. So if anybody is interested, you can message me, Jackie, or even contact Helen or Linda, or Ellen. Okay. So the money,
who are attending this talk, okay, so you can contact me directly, like we want to buy the durian.
Your friends okay, So we hope you guys will support us a little bit, and at the same time you get to enjoy these super delicious Musang King durian,
and it's pesticide free
pesticide free.
So especially during these 2 weeks, the harvest is more, so I hope everybody can enjoy during this peak period. So I think we've got 2 to 3 weeks more before it ends.
The season will end soon, right?
For my farm, for this particular farm, but we will go everywhere to source for good quality durians. Our season will, we continue this business until about September. So what our expertise is, we curate the best durian, all over Malaysia and bring it to your doorstep. So we try not to work with those commercial farming and all that. So for now, for these 2 weeks, we are dealing with this 10 acres farm. And I see it myself is pesticide free, so it's safe to consume. So some durian, when you eat really, you feel very thirsty, then you feel like headache, uneasy, get sick, because they put a lot of, pesticide, what they call that, the budget also, they some of them overdo it because they just want to have big crops. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question. There's a question from Amanda, right?
Yeah, 20 km from where?
Sorry?
It says 20 km, where is
from
it?
Taman Desa, Oakland Road. Taman Desa, Oakland Road, you guys are familiar? Danau Desa, so it's quite central, the central of KL. So, it can reach to many places, Cheras, PJ, downtown, yeah.
Jackie, can you publish your number and Jean's number in the chat box?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, better lah. Because I mean, the poster is gone already.
So, Jim, we are looking at maybe one basket to do basket, right? For now?
Yeah.
So it's a noble cause, and I also hope that many people will participate lah. So on our end, it's also we are there's cost for us to fulfill, to pay, but we are trying our best to cross over with Kiwanis lah.
Okay, Linda wants to buy already. She wants to buy how many packets?
50 kg, is it? Okay, on. I'll deliver myself.
My friends are like Carol, like Bolo, and I got a few friends here. Hopefully you can PM me lah to buy lah. There are three boxes of is for 55 each. 3 boxes is 165. If you live within the 20 km radius from Taman Desa, is free delivery.
Yes.
Oh, Lisa, my friend wants it. Okay.
Someone pop up a question asking whether it's vacuum packed or not. It is not vacuum packed. It's sealed nicely lah, like that lah. With the Tupperware. I don't encourage vacuum pack because you will stop the natural fermentation. It will condense. Evaporate, and if it's being tight sealed, air sealed lah, it might be watery, or it won't get the natural fermentation. So we use the plastic bag. We put the box into the plastic bag and we will seal it with cable tie. If you're worried, we seal it with cable tie. Yeah. And these days the weather are hot. Yeah, especially it's not been raining for the past few days. So if you really vacuum pack, I seriously think that it will become watery even faster. Yeah. I mean, maybe what part of the reason why people vacuum, because they want to bring it to the office. They want to they're boarding a flight to Hong Kong and things like that. Maybe they vacuum pack it. So on an ordinary day, if let's say to reach your place within half an hour, I don't think it's necessary lah. That's my opinion lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I definitely will order lah, because I love Musang King. I've been ordering Musang King online anyway. I've been eating a lot the Musang King.
Okay. Okay, I think that's about it. Okay, just want to announce to everybody, our next speaker for next month will be Siti Kasim. Okay, Siti Kasim, I'm not sure if you guys know who. Okay, next slide. So because it's a Merdeka mom, so she will be talking about, next slide.
7 of August, is it?
Yeah, it's the 7th of August. The change starts with us. Okay, so I hope you guys can join us and see how, we can help, change this nation again one more time. The change starts with us. So tiring. Okay, next one. Yeah, next speaker is on 7th of August. And YB, are you there? YB, are you there?
I think he left.
No,
maybe.
He's still there.
Yeah,
his chair is still there.
YB. Okay, never mind. So we are hoping YB can help us to connect with the KJ to be our speaker. So we will keep you guys updated, okay?
It's a different link lah, because we will send out the poster, a week before. Then we will send you a reminder, okay?
Yeah.
I will post it on my Facebook and public, so anyone.
Okay. You can follow us at Kiwanis Club of Kota Kemuning, our Facebook page. We will update there, okay?
Yeah. Also that, okay. And also my personal Facebook.
Yeah, YB is back. YB is back.
Hello, can I ask what is the contact number for purchasing the durian?
Oh, 019
019
312
6545.
6545. Yeah, Jean.
What is the name of the person?
Mila, Jean. I remember Jean and Tonic, but with 2 I's. It's a real name. Jean and Tonic, but with 2 I's.
Jean.
Yeah, Jin Yong. Yeah. Giin.
Huh?
Giin.
Giin.
Yeah.
Okay. Gin and tonic.
You forgot my name, just remember that gin and tonic. Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. YB left already.
He came back? We left with Kian. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, guys, I think any questions you guys want to ask us, you can, talk to us. Yeah. So if not, Ellen, you can.
Okay. Anyway, if you miss some part of the talk, or you want to order the, Musang King, you can get all this information in our page lah. You want this
Yes.
page, Facebook page. At the same time, this meeting is actually being recorded lah, so you can actually watch it again if you want. It's so fun. Coming late. Anyway, thank you so much, YB, Dr. Ong. I think yes, left already. Anyway, thank you so much for giving us the talk, and which is very informative lah. Again, we learned a lot. Okay, and for all the participants, thank you so much. Especially those that they engage in the talk and then they ask a lot of questions. And hopefully, some of you will help to buy the Musang King durian for charity lah. Just for club charity lah. Okay.
We forgot to take picture with YB. Never mind, it's okay lah.
Okay. Yeah, because all right. Anyway, hopefully those that still around, can you all just show your face? I want to take a good photo. Quite a number still around. There are about 28 still around. Come on, Carol. Come on, Carol. Show your face. Mr. Kamal. We have a few people now. Show your face. We take one group photo. On my friends, please show your face. I know a few of my friends are here. Okay, I'll just take one first. All right.
Kamal, you are a future speaker, okay? Just bear in mind.
Okay, we just take photo. Okay, say hi, peace, everyone. Cannot see your face already. You peace like that. Cheryl, okay. All right. Thanks a lot. My husband is there. Every time for photo taking, he'll show his face. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So
Thanks
for
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thanks,
Thank you and good night.
Dr. Ong.
Thanks, Ellen. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoy. Okay.
Kamal, future speaker.
See you all next month.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.